The Gestapo, corrupt, putrid, disgusting, so-called U.S. Department of Justice, which has become nothing but a tool of the Biden administration. Also corrupt to the core, run by a brain-dead criminal by the name of Joe Biden, an individual who obviously has taken bribes from communist China, Russia, and Ukraine. Let me start with a subpart of the Department of Justice, my once proud alma mater, the FBI. That is run by FBI Director Christopher Wray. He wouldn't turn over a document which conclusively shows apparently the bribery of Joe Biden. Wouldn't do it. The Republicans said they'd hold him in contempt. Well, they've backed off. This tells you a lot about the Republican Party. Just show it to all of us on the Government Oversight and Reform Committee, and we won't hold you in contempt, Christopher Wray. We're part of the club. We deserve to see it, but the American people can't see it. Expect a cover-up by the Republicans, because you know what? Christopher Wray and the FBI have a lot of, excuse the French, SHIT on the Republicans. Mutual assured destruction. That's always been the case in Washington. Don't go after the higher ups. Just burn the middle and lower level people and officials. It's clear what's going on. Unbelievable. The American people can't see it, but the select few in Congress can. And then, of course, today we have the indictment of Donald Trump for documents at Mar-a-Lago. Obviously, an attempt to destroy Trump's run for the presidency. Expect that to be one of yet a number of indictments coming down the line. Yet there'll be two more in all likelihood, one coming out of Georgia for election issues there, and probably another one from Jack Smith out of the grand jury in Washington, D.C. for alleged sedition by Trump on January 6th. Trump is in deep trouble. There's no question. He can pretend that he's not, but he's in very, very deep trouble because this indictment in front of a District of Columbia jury comprised of ultra-leftists, government people, by and large, minorities that hate his guts because he's been smeared and defamed as a racist, you can bet he'll be indicted. And Georgia will be the same thing in Fulton County in Georgia. I went to law school in Emory. It wasn't the same demographically as it is today, but now it's pretty similar to Washington, D.C., and it's a city you wouldn't want to live in anymore. There's such a rampant crime, much like Washington, D.C., and every major city in this country, thanks to Joe Biden and the left. This is the state of our justice system. It is corrupt. It is totally bankrupt on the federal level. State level, there's still some good pockets of it. I encounter many good judges in Florida, for instance, and these kinds of things are not necessarily endemic to every part of this country. But the District of Columbia and New York in particular is a corrupt hellhole in terms of the legal profession and in terms of the judges that are there on the federal level. It's time for the American people to rise up. We can't take it anymore. And that's why I want you to go to freedomwatchusa.org. Get my book, It Takes a Counter-Revolution, Wake Up America. Help me wage a peaceful and legal counter-revolution. With citizens' grand juries, citizens' trials, we've already tried Biden and his son and his brother for bribery, Fauci for negligent homicide. Mueller was indicted. He'll be tried as well over the Russian witch hunt. And a number of federal judges are on the chopping block in Washington, D.C., in particular, the most corrupt court in this country, the most corrupt court, frankly, the federal court there ever to be in existence in our 200 and some years. It's exactly what Jefferson predicted. These federal judges in Washington, D.C. think they're above the law. They were put in place largely with political campaign contributions from special interests, otherwise known as bribes. They serve the interests of those special interests. They do whatever they want. They're not accountable. When there is an ethical violation, it goes to the Judicial Council, and that's comprised of fellow judges. It's thrown in the trash. The Justice Department won't do anything about it. And big shot Jim Jordan of the House Judiciary Committee rolled up sleeves, former coach of the wrestling team at Ohio State, who has the power to start impeachment proceedings. He won't do it either. I went to Washington a few weeks ago. to ask for his support. I never even got a return call, despite being promised the same. They don't want to take risks because this Justice Department and FBI have the dirt on them. And it came out recently, the mass surveillance that I enjoined the Obama intelligence community on, going back to 2014, 2015, has undoubtedly been going on ever since, even with court orders not to do it. But it's now come back with a vengeance on January 6th defendants, and also probably those who represent them, including yours truly and everybody else that's standing up for freedom and liberty. So go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute to our cause. We need to get bigger. We are your Justice Department. I need more lawyers. I need more paralegals. We need more office space. We need more resources to assume the task of forming our own legal system peacefully and legally and meeting it out. And when Biden is convicted, and he will be convicted by our citizens judge, I'm sure, I'm confident that we presented enough evidence to get that done. We will seek to have him sentenced, to have him arrested by law enforcement and the military if necessary. They'll have valid legal process to do it. And of course, we also have a right of citizen's arrest. We will always be peaceful and nonviolent, but the American people have had it, and they must rise up. This is yet another example, the indictment of Donald Trump. It's more than an outrage. It marks the beginning of the end in this country. Actually, we're quite a long way already. So go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions, get to work, roll up your sleeves, save this country for your children, grandchildren, and future generations. We don't have a minute to lose. Remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. And also listen to my radio show this weekend, Special Prosecutor with Larry Klayman, which you can get at radioamerica.com or on the internet at freedomwatchusa.org. God bless you.